Hello, and welcome to my little corner of Maplewood Lane. This is a cozy place where gentle stories unfold. Stories of small town life, warm cakes, quiet streets, and the people who fill them with laughter, memories, and kindness. Each video here is a new chapter in the story, following a young woman as she inherits a little cake and bookshop from her grandmother, and meets the charming townspeople discovering the simple joys and gentle adventures of autumn on Maplewood Lane. So pour yourself a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let the soft sounds and calm moments of the shop guide you as we step together into a world of warmth, autumn leaves, and quiet stories. And now, let's begin. Autumn at Maplewood Lane, Chapter 1, Opening Day. Hello, and welcome to Maplewood Lane. Today we step together into the little cake and book shop, quiet, warm, and waiting for gentle footsteps. Take a slow, deep breath, and let the sounds of autumn drift through your mind. The rustle of leaves, the faint whisper of wind along the cobblestones, the distant chiming of a bell. The bell above the door chimed as I pushed it open, a small, soft sound that echoed through the quiet morning. Inside, the familiar scents enveloped me, the warm sweetness of vanilla sugar, the faint tang of cinnamon and nutmeg, the subtle, comforting smell of well-loved books. I let my fingers brush gently across the wooden shelves as I walked slowly through the shop. Each spine told a story, and I imagined the hands that had held them before. Some books were leaning just slightly, a little lopsided from years of use. Others stood perfectly straight, their colors bright in the soft morning light. The glass display held my grandmother's cakes, each one arranged carefully. A golden lemon drizzle loaf, still warm, chocolate sponge with soft frosting that smelled like cocoa and sweet cream, a tender apple pie dusted lightly with sugar, the cinnamon aroma curling gently through the air. I ran a finger lightly along the counter, feeling the smoothness of the glass and the cool wood beneath my palm. Everything felt alive. I tied my apron slowly, the fabric soft and worn, carrying the faint scent of flour. I adjusted the ribbons, feeling them settle comfortably around my waist. Then, with a gentle push, I turned the wooden sign from closed to open. A soft breeze drifted through the open window, bringing the crisp scent of fallen leaves from Maplewood Lane. Outside, the trees were painted in amber and gold, the sun reflecting off the cobblestones like the sparks of light. I inhaled slowly, tasting the cool air, feeling the warmth of the shop counter under my hands, and whispered softly to myself, "It's ready. We're ready." I walked to the front window and looked down Maplewood Lane. The street was calm, almost empty, except for a few wandering leaves dancing in the gentle wind. A squirrel paused to nibble on an acorn by the curb. Its tiny movements made the leaves rustle softly around it. Across the street, the baker's chimney puffed a lazy trail of smoke into the pale morning sky. The cat, black with white paws, lazily stretched on the bakery steps, blinking slowly in the sunlight. Everything was small, gentle, peaceful. I thought about my grandmother and how she had spent so many years here, her hands, dusted with flour, moving carefully as she arranged cakes and books. Her laughter, soft and musical, carrying through the shop, across the street, and into the homes of Maplewood Lane. I imagined her here now, smiling quietly, nodding at the way I arranged the cakes, the way I dusted the shelves. For a moment, I felt her presence in the warm air, in the quiet tickling of the clock on the wall, in the sunlight spilling across the wooden floor. The bell chimed gently. Mrs. Dalloway, my grandmother's old friend, stepped inside. Her knitting bag swung slightly on her shoulders as she paused at the door, inhaling the warm air. "Oh, my dear," she whispered softly. "It feels just the same as when your grandmother was here." I smiled, leading her to the wooden table by the window. I poured her a cup of tea, steam curling upwards like the clouds. Then I served her a slice of spiced apple loaf, warm and fragrant. She took a slow bite, closed her eyes, and exhaled softly. "Delicious," she muttered, "exactly as I remember." We sat together quietly, letting the sounds of the shop fill the space. The faint hum of the kettle, the soft tick of the clock, leaves brushing gently against the window, the occasional distant bark of a dog down the lane. I sipped my tea slowly, tasting the warm spices, the comfort of steam rising and swirling. Mrs. Dalloway hummed quietly as she knitted, each loop of yarn making a soft whisper against her needles. We shared stories, small anecdotes, gentle memories of the shop and Maplewood Lane. Her voice was low and soft, a lullaby of familiarity and comfort. Outside, a few children ran past the window, laughing and kicking up leaves. One small girl paused to look in, pressing her tiny hands against the glass. I smiled and waved softly. She waved back, the bell above the door chiming faintly as she ran off. Inside, Mrs. Dalloway whispered, "Your grandmother always loved the children," noticing her shop. They were part of its heartbeat. I nodded slowly, listening to the quiet, the movement, the small rhythm of life on Maplewood Lane. I walked slowly around the shop, running my fingers along the shelves, touched the smooth counter, adjusted a book slightly. The warmth of the sunlight, the sense of baked goods, the soft murmurs and hums, all of it reminded me this place was alive. And now it was mine. Maplewood Lane, the little shop, the small, slow rhythm of life, it was all waiting patiently, gently, to be discovered again. The kettle hummed softly one last time. Leaves continued to drift outside. The bells above the door stood ready for the next visitor. And the little shop on Maplewood Lane waited quietly for stories, for laughter, and gentle moments. For another day of peace, warmth, and autumn calm.